I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Eric Gagnon, and we sell restaurants. We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm, We Sell Restaurants, over a decade ago. You can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com.
We're on your radio once a week with the leading authorities in this industry, talking about subjects trending in the restaurant business. Tweet your own questions on our topics while we're on the air to our Twitter handle, Sell Restaurants, or post to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/We Sell Restaurants. If we don't get to your question, we'll follow up with you on our social media channels.
Our goal is to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. If you have any ideas for our show or any comments, you can email me. My email address is eric@WeSellRestaurants.com.
Well, we just returned from the International Franchise Association convention that's held once a year. Celebrating 50 years of excellence, education, and advocacy, the International Franchise Association is the world's oldest and largest organization representing franchising worldwide. Their mission is to protect, enhance, and promote franchising, all of these topics of high interest to restaurant operators. As a franchisor of our own brand, We Sell Restaurants, we attend to meet operators of restaurant franchises and stay on top of the breaking news in the business. The trends we saw throughout the show focused on technology, franchise growth, customer service, multi-unit growth, and the marketing idea of using technology to drive that local search engine marketing result.
And what do all of these attendees at the IFA shows have in common? Well, they are looking forward at opportunities for restaurant franchisors and franchisees to improve their business model. We first caught up with Ken Colburn. He's the chairman of the International Franchise Association Technology Committee. Ken has been involved in the computer industry since the mid-'80s, and he founded Data Doctors in 1988. He writes a weekly computer advice column carried by various media partners and can be heard daily via the Data Doctors Tech Tips radio segment broadcast in various markets in the U.S. He previously hosted a Cox television technology show called Technophobia, as well as multiple award-winning radio program called the Data Doctors Radio Program. Ken's ability to explain technology to the average user has made him a popular speaker at business workshops, schools, computer club, national conferences. Ken also has been featured in Biz Journal, eBay Magazine, several other magazines, and G4 Tech TV, a 24-hour national cable channel. Ken is the chairman of the International Franchise Association Marketing Technology Committee, and we caught up with him.
Okay, so we just caught you running around the IFA with the coolest pair of glasses ever. Tell us who you are and what that's all about.
I'm Ken Colburn, founder and CEO of Data Doctors Franchise Systems, and been a tech guy for 25 years. Do a lot of technology, media reviews, and what have you, and have a great relationship with Google. So I'm what they call an explorer for Google Glass, which is basically their new smartphone on your face, which, a pair of glasses that basically does everything a smartphone will do.
That is amazing. So Eric just tried these glasses on, gave a couple of commands, and it took a picture from his voice. Is that where we're going? Hands-free? Hands-free?
Oh, it's totally hands-free, and it's not where we're going, it's where we are, actually. From the franchising perspective, I wrote an article for Franchising World about the impact of glass on franchising. You think in terms of training, creating training videos, and we've done this with our staff already. Really, really simple to create really high-quality training videos because it's first-person perspective. There's not a videographer chasing a trainer around trying to figure out what they're looking at. It's a very, very efficient way of creating training videos, especially for anything, tactical, like teaching somebody how to run a point of sale. Slap glass on your best person, start recording, and just have them walk through and talk. And you suddenly have this amazing training video.
That is really something. And, all of our listeners are very focused on the restaurant world. So I can see this where someone looks down and they're actually putting recipes together and really becomes integrated into their business.
Absolutely. There's already actually a sub-sandwich franchise that's been using Google Glass to create training videos on how to make certain sandwiches and what have you. So it's absolutely, it's here. It's unfortunately, it's not available yet.
back up where we are. So you were just sharing something with us about from a compliance standpoint. Tell us how this particular technology would come into play.
Yeah, so one of the other things I wrote about it is, we are all interested in gathering data in the compliance field, support, what have you. Google Glass makes it real easy to capture a lot of what's going on in the store in real time. And instead of, if there's feedback from the franchisee to the franchisor, instead of writing it down and emailing and having the chance of the text being misconstrued, just quickly take a video. It's not like I'm shoving a smartphone in your face. It's pretty, unobtrusive for you and I to have a conversation and for me to record that. So then it's just, there's no misconstruing what the feedback is because it's now video. And
No, pricing. So tell us, what's the pricing look like on a pair of Google Glasses?
well, right now, if you're invited to be an Explorer, you have the great honor of paying $1,500. This is not available to the public yet. They're obviously trying to get the price down. The two things they need to do is get the price down. They're probably going to make some changes to the form factor. The big thing is we have to have more apps. Right now, there's about 60 or so really good, solid apps. It's not enough for the ecosystem to support this. Once you get past the gee whiz. But one of the apps that I've always loved on my phone is one called WordLens. So if I go to France and I want to read a menu, I can take my smartphone out and use WordLens to do a real-time translation of the text. So that's now built into Google Glass. So if I'm in a museum and I want to know what is this artwork all about, it doesn't do an exact translation, but certain words, it's almost like Harry Potter. The words just start to wiggle and suddenly change into English from French through this translation app. So I've heard rumors that somebody's working on an app that basically allows you to decode sign language. So if you don't speak sign language, you have no idea how to decode that. Supposedly somebody's working on an app where they can watch those motions through glass and translate it into text on the screen. So there's some really interesting possibilities with this form factor that we haven't even seen the beginning of. So that's the exciting part.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ken. Are we about done to start dialing on our phone and you're just going to be like talking to your glasses and you and I can be communicating via our little screen live instead of having to call each other on the phone?
Phone. Let me think. Phone. I'm trying to remember what is a phone. No, it is. It's not a replacement for. In fact, you have to have a smartphone tethered to glass now. But certainly as a form factor, I think it's really not. We can't think about it replacing something we do. It's a new way of doing things that we're not doing right now. So I think that's really where this is headed, as opposed to replacing something. And at some point, maybe it's a fully functional phone without having to have a handset. But there are times you're going to still want that handset, larger screen, what have you. So I don't see that really changing so much. It's for the time being, it's going to be an extension of your phone.
That is such fascinating information. Thank you so much for your time.
That was amazing. I have to tell you, I ran around with the Google Glasses guys on the show, and the restaurateurs, people in the industry, were coming to me and asking me about it, and there's such an excitement and hype over that we are looking truly forward to see what kind of information and what kind of work it's going to do. But let's switch gear a little bit and talk about restaurant owners and operators. We also met with Jason Mann of Planet Smoothie. Jason is president of Mann's Diversified Industry, a franchisee of Planet Smoothie and Tasty Delight, which owns and operates 3 Planet Smoothies in Central Florida. Mr. Mann entered into the world of franchising in 1999 by introducing the Planet Smoothie brand to the Central Florida market. He is an area representative and has been an integral part of growing the Central Florida market to 27 Planet Smoothie franchises. Jason consults with franchisee on each phase of the franchise life cycle, including franchise sales, real estate acquisition, store development, management training, opening, assisting, marketing, and ongoing business consulting. Mr. Mann has won multiple top single unit sales volume award, Franchisee of the Year award, and Area Developer of the Year award. We caught up with Jason after he served on a panel discussion for the IFA this year. The panels were a very interesting way to bring both franchisors and franchisees together around topics that are of interest right now in the industry.
Okay.
You're on.
Okay, so Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you with?
With Planet Smoothie Tasty Delight out of Orlando, Florida.
And what's your role with them?
Well, actually, I have 2 different companies with 2 different franchises with Planet Smoothie Tasty Delight. We affectionately call it Planet Tasty. The first one is operations. I own and operate 3 different locations. Started my franchising in 1999. Got the opportunity to come on board in 2004 as an area representative. And currently have 27 stores that are in my territory that I help consult for the franchisor.
That is great. I think there are a lot of people listening who are saying, wow, how do I go from 0 to, 20-some stores? Tell us a little bit about how you made that happen.
Well, a lot of trial and error, if you will, a lot of perseverance, and really taking advantage of growth opportunity, and a lot of passion for wanting to share and coach other franchisees to be successful. We're very fortunate in the beginning to have some success, and the franchisor recognized that, so that gave us the opportunity to be able to spread that success outward.
So you're at the International Franchise Association meeting. What have you enjoyed the most so far about this year's sessions?
Oh, just meeting the folks from all walks of life here in different franchises, learning about what they're doing, and being able to be coachable enough to soak in some of that, and hopefully take home a few nuggets and internalize it into our own systems to grow and be better.
So you have actually been doing this quite a long time. Tell us, if you were advising a young franchisee or prospective franchisee today, what would you tell him is his number one thing that he needs to be able to do in order to be a successful franchisee?
Well, first of all, really dig in and do your homework. You want to make sure that you talk extensively, not just with the franchisor, and get up there and meet the executive team of the franchisor, because you're going to be working with them on an ongoing basis, but also get out there and talk with the franchisees in depth, and talk with quite a few of them, and find not just the franchisees that are happy, because a lot of times franchisors will feed you the happy franchisees, but find you some franchisees that aren't happy, and there's some that are out there, and try to find out what it is that you're going to be in for, and because it's not all great smelling roses all the time. You've got to put in the time, effort, and it's what you're going to do. You're going to put in a lot of financial money into the operation. So, make sure you do your homework.
I think that's great advice from the International Franchise Association and our discussion with Jason Mann of Planet Smoothie. Any other closing thoughts?
If it's your passion to be an entrepreneur and own your own operation, go for it. It's a great way to build a fantastic lifestyle.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Great advice from Jason Mann. Hopefully you guys can take a little bit of that and put in your own life. Next up, we also have from the IFA was Tom Dufore. Tom was the Chief Operating Officer for Franchise Marketing System. He is responsible for the oversight of franchise marketing systems operation and consulting with and advising FMS clients. Tom has personally worked with and advised hundreds of businesses ranging from the largest companies in the world to startup. Tom is an expert in franchising, franchise strategic planning, franchise expansion, operations, marketing, internet marketing, and sale. He has been a guest speaker for the IFA and the Michigan Restaurant Show, International Food Service Show, Chicago Treasury's Office Business Expo, and the Franchise Finance Exhibition in Phoenix. Let's hear from Tom.
So you're here at the IFA today. Tell us your name and a little bit about your company.
Sure. I'm Tom Dufore with Franchise Marketing Systems, and we help businesses turn their company into a franchise as well as sell franchises.
That's very exciting. Now, a lot of our listeners are foodies and would-be owners or people that own a restaurant today and think, hey, I could be the next McDonald's. Can you make that happen for them, and how do you do that?
Absolutely. So the first step we start off with is an initial consultation to evaluate the feasibility for franchising. Once that consultation has been completed and we determine that it makes sense, we'll help put together a plan and a process to actually take that restaurant or business through franchising and turn them into a franchise with helping with documentation, paperwork, legal documents, manuals, marketing plans, brochures, and help through that entire process to, once you come through it, be able to turn into a franchise and start offering that for sale.
That sounds so complicated. Can you really make it that simple with your help?
We can, absolutely. And most of our small business owners that we work with are busy running their own shop on a day-to-day and don't have the time or resources to commit to it. And that's where we come in as a value add. Much like you'd hire a CPA or an accountant to help you with working your books, it's very similar with us. We secure and gather information through meetings and interviews and questions, and then we do all the heavy lifting and dotting the I's and crossing the T's to make the process as simple as possible.
Now, everybody thinks, you could just franchise overnight now. Tell people a little bit about the timeline. So much to think from the time somebody reach out to you and the time they can sell their first franchise. Can you talk about timelines a little bit?
Sure. So a typical timeline from the time someone moves forward to say, I'm going to become a franchise organization, is typically about a 3 to 6 month process to get all the paperwork and documents in place. And once you start actually marketing and generating leads of interested buyers for your franchise, we typically see it be anywhere from as quickly as a 3-month process to sell your first franchise, and sometimes as long as 12 months, depending on the resources, time, a number of leads coming through, and a wide variety of other factors.
Do you help after the franchise is established with the sales cycle, getting those new franchisees on board?
Absolutely. So when you become a new franchise company, one of the things that differentiates franchise marketing systems is that we actually help you sell that first franchise, that second, that third, that 10th, really up until you reach a critical mass point, which may be 10, 15, 30, 100 units, whatever that may be. And so we'll actually help execute that and manage the entire process for a startup franchise organization. And over the last 3 years, we've been able to help sell more than 500 franchises for our clients.
That is an amazing statistic. Well, you heard it here, 500 franchises. Tom, tell us anything else that we want to make sure our listeners are taking away from today?
Sure. If your listeners have any interest at all in franchising their business, please visit our website, franchisemarketingsystems.com, to have access to a free webinar, ebooks, and a free quiz to evaluate if your business is franchisable.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so busy show at the IFA. And lastly, we met up with Rick Batchelor, the CEO and president of Qiigo. Qiigo develops custom lead generation programs for franchisees and is a specialist in sponsored and organic search for franchised and multi-location businesses. Rick's been involved in search engine marketing since 1997. He sold one business and then got back into the business after serving and currently serves, as the Technology Committee Chairman for the Southeast Franchise Forum. Rick was the recipient of the Technology Association of Georgia's Search Engine Marketer of the Year Award in 2010.
Okay, so tell us your name and what you're doing at the IFA show.
My name is Rick Batchelor. I'm with Qiigo. What we're doing at the IFA is we manage the local listings for national brands.
Everywhere I have been at this franchise meeting, every corner, it's like local, local, local. Why is that, and why is that so important to a restaurant franchisor?
That's important because to franchisors, it's all about local. That's the local marketing, the local market penetration, and we accelerate the brand in doing that.
So you make sure that even though they have this great dominant national presence, they're also dialed in to that geo-marketing element of a local listing.
Absolutely. It's the extra penetration in the local market that makes all the difference to the survival or not of that particular location.
So does this help search engine optimization results?
It does help search engine optimization results, in particular your Google Plus SEO or Google Plus search engine optimization within the Google Plus area, which is really the granddaddy of local listings.
So a lot of restaurateurs are totally intimidated by social media, anything online. I mean, it's not their core competency. Face it, they're great chefs. They deliver wonderful product and superior service, but that's in a vacuum, separate and apart from the technology. So are you seeing this trend towards people really needing to outsource to firms like yourself who can take that burden on for them?
Outsourcing to firms is one thing. However, when you're dealing with a national brand, outsourcing to someone that actually supports the national brand, like we do. We don't work with onesie-twosie businesses. We typically require 10 locations or more. And having a support structure to manage that is really, really important to a growing brand. And you start to see things break as you cross the 50 and 100 unit mark.
I read a very great book on multi-units, and it's intriguing that you say that because they said the same thing, that franchises begin to break down at about the 15-unit mark. Then once they sort of get past that and grow again, then 50 and 100 are breakdown points. So I totally agree with that. Tell us about this intriguing name of your company and your mascot, because you have this really flashy booth and have been getting lots of traffic.
Okay, so our company is actually pronounced Qiigo, phonetically incorrect on purpose. The short story there is my wife was trying to name the company back in 2006 and spit out. She was playing the Wii, W-I-I, with my niece and nephew. Spit out some variation, which became the company. Our mascot, Captain Local, is something we decided upon that really makes a big difference. It makes us memorable. What we end up doing is we print a picture of you with your Captain Local in our booth. Real fun. You pick your directory prop, your favorite directories like Google Plus or Facebook. We print it on the spot and frame it for you. No one ever throws a picture of yourself away, so what we expect is that when the salesperson calls on you, it'll be sitting there on the corner of your desk.
There you go. That's branding that just won't go away. Is there anything, any bit of advice that you would offer to a franchisor in today's very, very competitive marketing realm that you think really would set them apart?
We see a lot of brands wait to actually really dig in and go local and work with an organization that's going to support them when they get bigger. I would highly recommend starting sooner rather than later. Get your processes in place, get your support systems in place, and as you grow with a company like Qiigo, it'll really make a difference in accelerating your growth as opposed to changing vendors.
Okay, you mentioned that your name is not spelled the way it sounds, so do me a favor. Tell folks where they can find you and spell it out.
They can find us at www.qiigo, and that's spelled Qiigo.com. Again, Qiigo, Qiigo.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
So we have been playing back some of the sounds of the International Franchise Association show held in New Orleans this year. This show is a place where so many multi-unit franchisees, franchisors, suppliers, single-unit franchisees, anybody interested and passionate about franchise business can get together and share ideas and information about the industry. Robin, what other little thing that happened there when you were there?
Well, I think that several people would tell you that the franchise industry is a very giving industry. And I believe that's true. You go to the IFA show and it clearly demonstrates that. I mean, literally, you can be at a roundtable discussion with the president, CEO, and operating partner of a major franchise group, a 4 or 5, 600 unit group, or even a couple thousand unit group. Even as a startup company, you're at the table.
That's right. And for those of you listening also, one of our own was a great star at the IFA. Robin herself was a panelist at this year's IFA show. So if you do run into Robin somewhere around and your whereabouts, ask her about her experience. She was a panelist on a panel named Failure to Launch, to meet the challenges as young franchisors, which was some of the stories that we have been going through as a startup franchise. So if you see her, don't forget to ask her about her experience on the IFA panel.
Oh, thank you for that little plug, Eric. And just want to remind everyone that today's show is sponsored in part by Today's Restaurant, the food service industry newspaper. Today's Restaurant is the trade newspaper for the food service in Georgia and Florida. Get your free subscription at www.trnusa.com. This is Eric and Robin Gagnon. We're the restaurant brokers bringing you the latest franchise news from the IFA. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.